Tonight on ESGN TV, Mana drops in for a quick chat on IEM qualifiers and his training. And we recap what's happening with WCS in all the regions. And Susie Kim stops by Proleague. And that's just the A block. Plenty to talk about on today's Daily News. Hello from Studio 1 in Babelsberg. Dan Cho reporting in for another day of exciting news in the esports industry. Today is January 22nd, and on this day in history, MMA won the IEM Kiev World Championship in 2012. Also, today in 1970 marks the first very commercial flight made by a 747 from New York to London. Well, yesterday was a big day for StarCraft Patch 2.1 as it dropped. The update focused on making the StarCraft II arcade free-to-play, giving stronger support for things like clans and extension mods, and implementing more incentives to keep on grinding the ladder. Also, a cool bonus is that the classic StarCraft 1 vanilla and Brood War music can be enabled in-game. One of the other large changes is the ladder system is restructuring and redistributing leagues. In a blue post late last year, Blizzard acknowledged that the league system was imperfect due to imbalanced distribution. Too many players were in bronze and silver. Now they will be reworking it to have a larger percentage of platinum and diamond players. So with all the changes in 2.1, we highly encourage you to hop back on the ladder and test your skills. Plus, who doesn't want to level up to gain one of those cute car bot portraits? Speaking of StarCraft changes, Protoss player Sokka has joined Team XMG after surprisingly leaving a long-time Team Alternate attacks last week. He had been with Alternate since 2010, but recently decided to leave the team, and we were still unsure of his motivation to leave, but we wish him success in the future competitions with XMG. He is also joined by French player Lilbo. Not much is known about him, but I'm sure we'll see more about him in the days to come. Next weekend is IEM Sao Paolo, where top players will gather in Brazil to fight for $25,000 in prize money. The qualifiers finished a week or so ago, with the groups having been released. In Group A will be Jockey, Puck, and Bomber. Group B will be TLO, MC, and Hello Kitty. And Group C will be CJ Antis' Hero, Polt, and Brazilian Tunico. And Group D will have Byong, Major, and A-Bomb. The last spots in each group will be filled by the winners of the two group stages. The event will be casted by Apollo, Caleris, Todd, and Rotterdam. Should be a good time. Find the information over at intelextrememasters.com. After Sao Paulo, IEM will have a little bit of time to reset and get ready for their Cologne event on February 13th. Today, they finished their Korean and Taiwan qualifier, which saw SKT1 teammates Rain and Classic win their bracket along with Curious from StarTale and Cure from Jin Air. They joined the player pool of 5 Terrans, Hero Marine, Polt, Jockey, QXC, and more, and 1 lone Protoss in Mana. Yesterday, I got the opportunity to catch up with him and get his thoughts on the qualifier run and what he's been up to since leaving Mouse Sports. I'm joined by Mana, who's fresh off of his qualifier run for IEM Cologne. Congrats, Mana, on your run.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So talk to me a little bit about how 2014 starting off from you. You recently left Mouse Sports and you did an interview, and I saw that you were talking about how it's just a new blank page. What's the year looking like so far for you in terms of prospect?
Well, I have to say it's been like a failure, but now it's a pretty good start for me because of the IEM qualifier. It's a failure because I haven't been able to qualify for the WCS Challenger League in Europe 4 times in a row, which is like, I just couldn't even think about it. Like, it couldn't happen. So it's been kind of frustrating for me not to qualify, but now since I did well in IEM qualifier, I think it's going well.
Man, I want to also ask you about your opinions on maybe 2.1 balance changes. I know Blizzard hasn't really announced their full details quite yet as of this interview, but they were talking about things like tweaking the mothership core duration, as well as things like Terran Mech or even Roach Burrow. Do you feel like this addresses some of the problems in the game, or do you feel like there's other things that Blizzard needs to tend to?
Well, for now, I think the balance is very good. We can see mostly like 33% of races in each tournament, and like in Pro League as well. I think the balance is quite good. Of course, there are some things that can be improved. For example, say Swarm host games versus Protoss and versus Terran Mech. It's like quite frustrating and boring to watch, and especially more frustrating for players to play against. It's like close or even impossible to win against when it's like a certain point of like, I don't know, 40 Swarm hosts, like Vipers, Corruptors, and static defense, and Infestors there, so it's like very boring. But I don't really know how to fix that. But I think other aspects of the game are okay if it comes to the balance, because we can see, as I said in other tournaments, we can see a good balance of the races.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Actually, speaking of balance and game design, a lot of people have been kind of arguing about it back and forth, but then we recently saw a new mod come into popularity called Starbow. Have you had a chance to play it at all, and do you have any opinion?
I played it twice with my brother. First time it was like just checking the game, like what is it, because it was so popular. We just played it. The second time we played like more seriously just to see who will win. But we didn't like really care about it that much. We just wanted to see the game, and I have to say I enjoyed it. I really liked like getting back to River Micro again, having to see Dragoons again. It's just a fun mode, but I don't have a strong opinion on that. I just like it.
All right, well, hopefully we can see some development in that regards too. And I don't want to keep you too long, but I do want to ask you, do you have a message to the fans? Because 2014 has a lot of potential for you, and I'm sure they want to hear what you have to say.
It's just a beginning of 2014, and I've been doing bad and good already in 2014. It's been just 1 month. I want you to keep on believing in me. I will believe in myself for sure, and with your support and my own support of playing the game, we will come strong. And yeah, just keep on supporting me. Thanks.
You can support Mana on his Twitter at YouNeedMana or twitch.tv/onlymana. Thank you so much for joining me, man, and good luck in 2014.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Mana is streaming more often on the links you see on your screen. Good luck in Cologne, Mana. We'll be rooting for you. Last night was the start of WCS Europe and America. Let's first start here in Europe, which had a different Challenger League system than what you saw last year. This time around, Challenger League promotions boiled down to one best of 5. The winner moves on, and the loser stays put. And when it comes to taking on WCS and European Zergs, Nanyuan hasn't had the most consistent results that matches clear talent as a top non-Korean player. On the other hand, with a convincing win over Scarlet in the Bitcoin show match, fans were riding high on Nanyuan's recent play. How would that translate into his Challenger League games?
He does manage to get this around, but down come the force fields now. A couple of the links trapped inside, but the Zealots and Sentries making sure work of them. And this is where the force fields can just keep on coming. That Zergling count vaporized down to only 44 now, Penguin.
Does StarCraft get the engagement he wants? Fighting in the middle lines, not the greatest idea with force fields here. A couple of beautiful force fields there. Will be able to zone out a lot of the army, but a lot of the roaches at the front are in range to deal a lot of damage here. StarCraft trying to fight with these Hydras, but the force fields are zoning them out very, very well. The Immortals shelling away, and Nanyuan's force fields are just not allowing StarCraft to close the distance.
The 2 Immortals at the back are most of the Sentries still alive. And with all of StarCraft's army going, while the supplies are in StarCraft's favor, he's lost most of his roaches who are acting as the buffer for these Hydralisks. And without that damage buffer, the Hydra's so fragile, taken down quickly. GG's.
Congrats to the Swede, but expected result nonetheless. Nanyuan will take his spot in Premier along with fellow Protoss players MC, Genius, and Stardust. Now, Nanyuan represents the old guard in European StarCraft, but there have also been rising stars also popping in. Hero Marine has captured the attention of many players and fans who are already writing him into the Premier League as one of Europe's best Terrans. He would have to get past the Swedish Zerg Starbuck, who has also been surprising people with his play and his drone stacks. Only one could advance to Premier League.
4 Banelings, the Marines.
Nowhere near enough. Here we go. The Banelings coming on through, not even having to break through the initial wall. They do go after the bunker. A lot of the Marines going down. The other bunker going down too. Here Marine is plummeting in supply, and a fantastic move from Starbuck. Looks like it may be well enough to, more than enough to equalize as he's down to under 40 supply. He's going to try to hold a couple of medevacs are out now, but there's still so many roaches. Next of a lifetime, there's no splitting coming out of Hero Marine. Everything gets demolished.
That was an absolutely
massive supply lead.
That was sensational. That bailing hit, monumental. And with that, Hero Marine Supply has got only just...
And there you have it, the full results. Happy defeats Irish Protoss A-Bomb. Firecake defeats Straylock. Starbuck, as you just saw, wins versus Hero Marine. And Naniwa takes it over Stockymon. WCS Europe is going on right now, so make sure to try and catch the final matches of the day today. Now on to WCS America. Last night also featured many of NA's best go at it, with one best of 5 to determine who goes up and who goes down. Huck and Scarlet advanced rather easily, but it would be so for the recent fan favorite Desro from Canada, who was up against Korean Apocalypse. When it comes to North Americans up against Korean Terrans, usually the outcome can be known before the match even starts. This time, however, things didn't go quite the same.
Started working on the tech lab. Unfortunately for him, it's the wrong tech lab, but that's the right tech lab.
He's found Stem. It's going to go right down. Great play from Desero, and he just needs no more micro blunders. If he can manage to not make mistakes, then maybe he can salvage this. Blinking onto the low ground. Oh, but not keeping those Stalkers safe. Desero needs to get out of there. He's doing a lot of damage, but he's also taking a ton of damage, and this time he does safely blink all of his Stalkers to the low ground.
Into Premier League.
12 Vikings and a great concave here for Apocalypse. Perhaps the final fight. What's going to happen? The Zealots charging forward. Colossi doing good damage, but that's great army control from Apocalypse. The Vikings are thinning out the Colossus numbers very quickly, but the Archons and the Zealots cannot be stopped. Look at the supplies. Desero up at 135 supply against 40. Apocalypse has lost every fight.
And Desero's been working super hard and streaming constantly to show his dedication towards improving. It kind of warms my heart to see the dividends of his perseverance. Congrats, buddy, and good luck in Premier League. Another player that has a lot to prove in WCS America was Violet, who in 2012 had strong performances at tournaments like NASL and IPL, but was plagued with visa issues. Now that he's acquired an athletic visa, fans were keen to see how he would perform against the newcomer Chinese players.
I really like Top's position actually, but with just a single Immortal, this could get very dicey very soon. As Violet is going to go for that Immortal, is he going to get it? So far the forces are good enough. He needs one more
going to stay alive amazingly, but with Zergling reinforcements popping out.
Yeah, the rest of the army just had no DPS.
Good game gets called in Violet. And if we've learned anything about Top today, it's that he does not believe in third bases, even at the 20-minute mark. Top is going to 2-base or die trying. As all of the static defenses have been taken care of, it's only Queens and Zerglings still alive for Violet. 50 supply to 130. Time Warp. Force Field, Immortals, Void Rays, Zealots, and Sentries all combining, bringing their power to bear against Violet. Good game.
China holds, and Top takes the series and upsets Violet, who many would have pegged to be a top finisher in WCS Premier. He will stay in Challenger League until next season. Walking down the results, Huck defeats Bales 3-1, Desro 3-1's Apocalypse, Scarlet sweeps Cowman, Top defeats Violet, and Alive beats Coma. Now, Kane and Major are currently tied 1-1 and will finish their series at a later time as there were technical issues during the match. CoD A has also been ongoing for some time, and today's results may surprise you. In Group G, Zest and CJ Hero advanced over Stork and Innovation. And over in Group H, Squirtle and Life advanced over Paralyze and Sky High. Now, GSL CoD A has been fast and furious, but they continue tomorrow on the 23rd with Groups I and J, featuring players like Dongregu, Sora, and Supernova. You can watch it starting at 1300 KST at twitch.tv/GSL. And that's not the only StarCraft II action happening in Korea. Susie Kim dropped by Proleague the other day to watch the games and show you around the venue. Take a look.
Thanks, Dan. This is Susie Kim with ESGN TV, and currently I'm standing outside on the streets of Gangnam, where the Nexon Arena is currently located. Today is week 4 of Pro League, and with us we have KT versus Prime, as well as MVP versus CJ. But today I decided it would be nice if we got a little bit of insight from one of the casters. So I've asked Brendan Valdez to do an interview with me. Let's go on in and see what he's got to say. So standing with me is the newest addition to our casting crew here in Seoul, South Korea, and this would be Brendan Valdez. Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Susie.
How are you today?
I'm great. I'm so excited for these matches today.
Okay, great. You know, you are new to casting here in Korea. How's that been for you?
It's been a blast so far. I've been having so much fun here. I love the fact that I've been able to come in here to Pro League, even though it's a newer gig, a newer thing for me. But it's just been so much fun, so much action here. Definitely come down if you haven't been here yet. I just want to keep on doing this and keep having fun.
That sounds awesome. So it's week 4 now of Pro League, and I know that KT has just taken that first place spot. What are your predictions for the rest of this series, and you know, just what's some teams that we should be looking out for?
Definitely right now the two guys in front is KT Rolster and SK Telecom. These two teams are really pulling themselves away from the pack, but definitely Generic Greetings and Samsung Khan, they're definitely really up there, and those 4 teams are looking really strong so far.
That sounds good. I can't wait to see how things unfold. I don't know, would you put money on it? Who do you think is going to win the whole thing? KT
Rolster right now with TY is looking really strong. They're my favorite team so far. I really want to see them do well.
All right. Well, that'll be it. Thank you so much, Brendan, and good luck with your cast today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Susie. Thanks, Brandon Valdez. If you want to follow her, you can follow her Twitter at Little Susie, but I'm sure we'll tell you that later on the show as well. Pro League will resume very soon, but walking down the results, IEM defeated Samsung Galaxy 3-0. SK Telecom T1, they win their series. So does KT Rolster, who remains in first place, and CJ Entis notches a much important win. You can tune in all to the action at twitch.tv/SC2 Proleague, casted by Brendan and Wolf. Taking a moment to look at the StarCraft II calendar, we have the WCS EU happening tomorrow, as well as WCS NA, and that's pretty much going to synchronize schedule for that day. But they also start deviating. Make sure to log on to StarCraft2.com/WCS to also catch the COD A schedule, as well as all the VODs and some cool little content provided you by Blizzard San Francisco. After the break, Gamefy discusses the hotly contested recent nerfs on League of Legends champions like Renekton. Susie sits down with DotA in a preview of the OGN finals. And we also have a behind-the-scenes access to yesterday's NSL winter semifinals with Blitz and Team Zephyr. The Daily News with Frodan will be right back. Welcome back to the Daily News. At the top of the block, we usually go over the changes to the games themselves and do it from our studio, but tonight Gamefy has stepped in and offered to do their own report on the recent potential balance tweaks Riot will be making to the League of Legends champions. Check it out.
Some new changes are currently coming from Riot. League of Legends US server released some new tweaks today, including new adjustments for Renekton's attack abilities. Besh, PR from Riot, explains the current work being done on a set of balance changes for Renekton, Butcher of the Sands. The changes include nudging down Renekton's early game dominance and boosting up his late game dominance. Besh described the changes, saying that, so even though Renekton's win rate is pretty much exactly 50-50, that doesn't mean that he's in the best place he could be in. Right now his early game is extremely strong, and he tends to fall off really hard late game, as other characters, especially range AD, outscale him with items. Besh also clarified his opinion on previous E changes, stating, I would definitely like to do something with the E besides the shred. Most people use that accidentally whilst ulting and would rather have had an empowered Q. The shred can be situationally very powerful, but is totally invisible. A slow could be one approach, but I think it could also be really cool if we look at the dash itself, possibly giving it more length on empowered state, or maybe a third dash altogether if we use with Fury. Few options here, probably going to be testing a number of them. Riot designers say that big changes for other champions' skills are under consideration for the future, but at the moment they are only focusing on Renekton. Riot has also published the new limited edition skin for Kayle, as well as a demo for Dragonblade Riven. This Lunar Revel created skin is influenced by Eastern culture themes for optimized awesomeness.
Riven skin looks pretty cool, if I don't say so myself. Thanks again, Gamefy. We want to remind you that they are on Chinese New Year's holiday, so there aren't any announcements of their upcoming leagues quite yet. But they've still been sending us nice tidbits of content, so you can find it for yourself at gamefy.cn. OnGameNet Global announced today on Facebook that they will be providing a radio kit for their English broadcast for those who will be attending the finals at Incheon live in person. Although OGN can't guarantee whether the radio kits will even work or not, they want to let their fans know that they're working hard to provide better service and content. And of course, OGN will be also broadcasting the finals in English on Twitch for those fans who cannot attend the event. I personally look forward to the finals of OGN Champions, which will be on the 25th, casted by one of my favorite duos, DOA and Monte Cristo. Susie Kim, our correspondent from Korea, got a chance to sit down with DOA to pull his thoughts on 2013 and the state of League of Legends at large.
Hi, I'm Susie Kim from ESGN TV, and I'm sitting here with Eric DOA Longquist, who is a caster here in Seoul, South Korea. Hi Eric, how are you today?
I'm doing awesome.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about what your role is here?
Yeah, I am basically an esports commentator, so I call games like you would see in like normal sports broadcasts if you're watching like basketball or football or something like that. I do play-by-play, so that means I get to like get excited and shout about all the fun stuff that we see. I've done StarCraft II mostly in the past, but then over the last year I've kind of made a transition to do mostly League of Legends now.
Then overall, what do you think of League of Legends? I mean, how do you think it went as an esport this year?
Well, it's huge. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. But what's been really fun for me, I guess, is getting to kind of be part of growing the Korean scene, because a lot of fans of the league are already very knowledgeable about the NA and EU, and maybe even China a little bit to a certain extent. But Korea, up until a little over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, was still kind of a big mystery to a lot of people.
Any particular favorite moments during this past year that you had?
Man, it's
games or memorable, plays.
There's been a lot of stuff for sure. I mean, I think probably the most memorable play was the Zed versus Zed moment with Faker versus Ryu at the Champions Summer Finals. I mean, I don't think I've ever been more excited in an esports game than I was at that very moment. My voice was just shot. Like, it doesn't even sound like me when I go back and watch the clip, but it was so insane. It was such a crazy match, such a crazy series. And so that like will always stand out. But another moment is just my first league cast ever down in Busan last November. No, 2 Novembers ago now. 2012 in November. Yeah. And I just remember how nervous I was. Like, I've never been so nervous on a cast before. I don't get nervous very often, but it was a new game, and I wanted to show the fans that I really cared, and that I'd put the work into it. So those two things really kind of stand out over the last year or so.
Okay, great. Any thoughts on the new Season 4 change?
Season 4 has been really good. I mean, I'm a bloodthirsty support. I like to get kills and really be aggressive in lanes. So Season 4, now that supports can buy more items, that they have more utility. Riot's kind of changed the way that some of the stats in the game affect some of the support champions' abilities in a really cool way. So I love Season 4. I'm having more fun with League of Legends now than I ever have before. And so I guess without gushing too much, I really have to give it up to Riot, because from the support perspective, Season 4 is awesome.
Okay, great. Who do you think we should be looking out for in 2014? Who are some key Korean players? There's a couple of them here and there. I think it's more with League of Legends. I feel like you have to more go with the team side of things, the players really, because it is a team game. It's a group effort, and you can have teams where one person really stands out, but the team as a whole kind of suffers. But I think if we look at teams, I really think that Samsung Blue, who's had a recent kind of spike in terms of skill and things like that, I think that's going to continue. I think they're going to be really good in 2014. I mean, SKTS, I want to say, is I think they could become a lot better than they are, but I feel like they kind of need to break out of their shell a little bit. I feel like they're playing too safe right now. I feel like we're not getting to really see the personalities of the players on those teams as much as I'd hope. So those two teams rather kind of stand out to me in the Korean scene right now. Okay, well, thank you so much for taking out the time to speak with me for this interview. Do you have any last comments or shout outs or anything anything you want to say to your fans?
I guess just thanks for watching my stuff. I really appreciate it. It always it's really amazing to get like encouraging words from fans and things like that, because I'm like a humble Minnesotan, you know, like I don't handle compliments well, but it just it really does just kind of like spur me on to work harder and make sure that the product that I'm producing for you guys, you know, is good and is, you know, worth watching, right? So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna work even harder than ever in 2014, and so yeah, just keep watching my stuff, and we're gonna have a great year.
Great, thank you so much. And this has been Susie with ESGN TV.
Thanks again, DotA and Susie. I know DotA's a really busy guy. He does a lot of stuff for iHearthU as well in Hearthstone, so not just a StarCraft II and League of Legends guy, multi-talented. League of Legends Cybergame's autumn qualifier for the Oceania region has kicked off. This tournament runs on the ladder system where teams declare challenges to other teams and defend against challenges made towards them. Points are awarded for either a successful challenge or a defense. The top 8 teams on February 20th will advance to the finals event held on February 22nd, where the top 2 second-place teams will face off and both be able to continue on to compete in the autumn regional round of 8 for a chance to win a share of $45,000. The autumn regional then leads to the winter regional, which sees directly into the wild card tournament qualifier for the World Championship in Korea. Team registration for the CAQ closes on January 26th, 8 p.m. AEDT, so make sure to sign up your team before then. Lastly, in League of Legends player news, we have Bak Reapered Hangyo, the mid laner for Jin Greenweed's Falcons, has retired from competitive League of Legends. He joins the ranks of Woong, Rapidstar, and Cloud Templar, who are all retired former MIG members. No immediate news of who Jin will replace Reapered with just yet, but they do have 2 subs, Reinder and Loyal, to fill in if needed. Good luck to Reaper. He was a great player, but now, as many other Koreans acknowledge, it's the age of Faker and SKT1K. Before we move on, let's take a look at the League of Legends calendar for the upcoming days. Tomorrow night, as you know, starts week 2 of the EU LCS with Millennium versus Alliance, Roccat versus Super Hot Crew, and later on that evening, Gambit versus SK. Tune into all that action at twitch.tv/riotgames. Now, over in Dota 2 news, the Dota 2 Champions League just announced their upcoming Season 2 for 2014. The D2CL will feature the best Western teams, such as Na'Vi, Alliance, Virtus Pro, Rock's Kiss, and more. So far, no schedule has been released, but keep an eye out for great Dota 2 action that begins all on the 27th of January. GoToGamer CIS Carnage tournament has been in full swing. Group A had Virtus Pro beating Rock's Kiss 2-0, and Power Rangers dominating the retry, also by a score of 2-0. Now we're heading into the upper bracket semifinals, which is still being played as far as I remember, and it's continuing over at twitch.tv/D2L, so pull up a tab to catch the English broadcast. It's a good time. Yesterday, the Dota 2 Western scene was closely watching the semifinals of the Nexon Sponsorship League. Susie Kim stayed on her toes all night to show you guys what happened. She's back for a 3rd time tonight. Susie?
Things are buzzing here at the GOM TV studios for the NSL Season 3 Round of 4, as Zephyr just easily took that first set off of MVP Hot 6. They are in their 2nd game now, and with Blitz playing his legendary Storm Spirit, it should be a pretty easy game this time around as well. So we'll have to wait and see how they do. With the captain of Team Zephyr, who played amazingly today. Now, I want to ask you, I want to ask you about game 2, because when you picked your character, it was almost everyone, you know, cheered and thought it was going to be a guaranteed win, but that was the only game you lost. What do you think happened there?
So the way it worked was that we wanted to, I don't know how much we should give out, but we weren't meant to send the Veno top, and then when we did, things kind of just like snowballed like backwards, and we had also never picked Morphling before. It was more just like a, like when you play in a tournament game, it's difficult because you suddenly think of these great ideas that you've never tried before, and you're like, well, we might as well. Like, we had never played Venge before in a single game, we had never played Morph before, but all of a sudden, you know, it's like, once we're at the stage, we get nervous and we go away from what we normally do. But, I mean, I thought I played okay. Their lineup, though, like, you could tell that they really, like, thought of a lineup to counter the Storm. Like, we knew it was kind of a bait, but I still thought we should have picked it because it's my most comfortable hero.
All right, well, I mean, I'm sorry that didn't work out for you for game 2, but game 3 and 4, game 4 especially, it looked like you guys are way behind for a while, and then give me your thoughts. What was going on? Because in the late game, you guys had it. Everything came together really well.
Well, we favor our late game really well. Like, our early game is kind of weak sometimes because we're still new and we're trying to find chemistry. And the way we play is a bit greedy. So, like, I farm a lot, Bambo farms a lot, Corey farms a lot. So in the beginning, it looks kind of bad, but then, like, we start to pick up really quickly, and so we can catch up in that regard.
Okay, well, congratulations on your win today. How do you feel about your opponent for next time now?
EOT, I think they're really good, and I think they're really strong. We scrimmed against them a few times, and they've been pretty close games. I actually think they play really similar to us, so I think it'll be a good match.
Okay, well, best of luck to you, and I hope you guys win.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, well, that's it for today. This journey following Zephyr has been amazing thus far. They play again against EOT Hammer on Saturday the 25th at 1 o'clock Korean Standard Time. So make sure you tune in and cheer for our team. This has been Susie Kim with ESGN TV.
Thanks to Susie, and like she mentioned, it's the 25th of January. Save the date. Let's see how far Blitz and Crew can go, starting with EOT Hammer in the winner's bracket. Lower bracket finals will be also happening the week after the finals on February 15th. Let's see what they can do. Good luck, Team Zephyr. Yesterday, Blizzard announced the open beta period for Hearthstone has begun. And that's right, Hearthstone is now available for every person. No new patch updates alongside the open beta were announced, nor is there any information of how long it lasts, but this is great news for the rest of the community who are anxious to finally play. If you want to try out Hearthstone, go to your Battle.net account and simply download the game. And to those veterans who have been lucky enough to get a key for months, try to go a little easy on these guys in Arena. Now, if you're feeling confident in your Hearthstone skills, there are a lot of small online tournaments popping up everywhere. The last one we saw on the calendar is coming up is Wind Fury Wednesday. That happens every midweek day for the North American server. The winner of the tournament gets an Infinite Crisis beta key, and registration is still open until 6:59 EST. So in about an hour from now. Go sign up quickly on the thread at liquidhearth.com. Before we finish, let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. Starting tomorrow, like we were saying earlier this week, is the EU West Challenger Series finals between the Fox Squad and Meet Your Makers. On Friday, we have Wearer.com Invitational, hosted by Le Told, with MMA, Jaedong, Huck, and more. On Saturday, we have the final Zotac StarCraft II Cup for North America. Sign up to get your chance to win some money. And on Sunday, we have the CIS Carnage 2014 Group B final match. You can find it at twitch.tv/D2L. And on Monday, we have the Kaspersky Arena featuring some of your favorite players like Grubby and Hero Marine. So that's a wrap for the daily news. If you missed part of the show, make sure to log on to ESGNTV.com to catch up and see our upcoming broadcasts. Also, if you have any news you want to share, send us an email at news@ESGNTV.com. From Dan Cho and the rest of the crew here at Studio One, thanks for watching. Fight Night.